Hi
It's a
Jay, how are you?
I'm good.
You're
I'm
good.
good. How are you?
I'm good. I know. I just love that we were just reminiscing on our old softball days because obviously that's how we got to know each other and
hmm
everything. But no, I think we definitely played each other before travel ball.
Probably.
Once you said the Eagles, like that was like a core memory that was just triggered because Third Ward was mine. That's who I was always with. I think was Third Ward, and I think I had some Navy jersey too. I don't know.
I don't remember all of the teams. I just remember obviously the Eagles, Jonos, Phoenix Club, and like all that.
Yes.
And it's crazy because I forgot to mention this, but my mom and my dad they would take like those home videos and we got
Stop.
them, yeah, we got them digitized, and some of like the in-house stuff is on those videos.
My mom gave me a box of pictures not too long ago, and it was actually just old school stuff she had saved too. And there was old pictures. I think I sent it to Danny. I did send it to Danny because there was like our group like Third Ward one. I was like, I forgot half these people even existed and were humans. Like I remembered some of their names. I'm like, oh, like this was Mariah and this was so and so, and I'm like, wonder whatever happened to them.
Oh,
You
there's
know, it was
still
kind of nice.
sorry, there's at my dad's house in my old room. I still have a picture of a few of us at a pool party. I think it was at Danny's house, and it
Oh,
was me. I think it was you, Tay, Mariah. I think Danny was in there too. She had to have been. But yeah, it was such a cute picture, and I'm like, oh my god, we were so little.
oh, we were so little. I came across a picture. I think it was me and Taylor, and it was either you or Danny. And I'm like, oh, we were so tiny. I wear my Raiders sweatshirt. Like that's like my baggy, like wear around the house sweatshirt. I'm surprised
Yeah,
it's still intact, quite honestly. That thing's so old.
I think a lot of my Raiders gear is still at my dad's.
Is it? I have a separate bin now with like tournament shirts and stuff. And I've been meaning to I know, I've been meaning to I want to do like one of those one of the blankets, where they take the t-shirts and they can make it into a
Yeah.
blanket. Yeah, like not like I'm ever gonna take them out and wear them, but like have them made into a blanket. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, or like some of the different, I don't know if you want to totally destroy your sweatshirts and hoodies of like the different teams that you played for, but like having the different teams like as a blanket, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think I still have some old jerseys in there, honestly. And I was planning on doing it with those because when we were done playing 16U, I think, because then I played with like a random travel team that was mostly my high school team for a year, and then I went to Spikes
I remember
for
you went to
like
like
my last year going into senior year. Yeah, was with
Trader.
Spikes. I know. I know. I don't remember why. Like I don't remember why we didn't go back to Raiders.
I don't remember either, but I remember after Raiders, I went to Explosion.
Yes. Wasn't it Batavia Explosion?
It was,
Wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't know, but I remember they were red jerseys
Mhm.
and Coach Rich, obviously.
Love Rich.
So, yeah, he's
And your
great.
dad. They were still one of the greatest coaches.
We love Orlando.
We love Orlando.
He talks about getting back into some form of coaching at some point, probably when he retires. And I'm like, I think that would be so good for you because you're so good at it. Maybe I'm
Oh
biased because
yeah.
it's my dad, but like, I don't know.
No, I think he'd totally be good for it. And I think he'd get a kick out of it. I
Yeah,
think for sure. Oh, and he'd be great because he was a great coach. So no, he'd be good at it. I hope he does it.
me too. I'll be on the sidelines like,
That's my
let's
dad.
fucking go.
And be like, which kid is yours? That's my dad. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, Jay, since we strolled down memory lane and realized that we're old, because I just turned 30 a couple
Girl,
weeks
you're
ago.
not old.
My body feels 30. I'll tell you that. But um, you know, we talk a lot on this podcast about mental health and just wellness, kind of in general. You don't have to, but we kind of give a disclaimer like you can only you don't I can't talk. You can go as deep as you would like to about, your personal journey and things like that, but what has kind of brought you into the mental health space or like what do you do within the mental health space?
So I currently am a professional counselor. A lot of my professional history, I've worked in substance use rehabs. And with substance use comes mental health. So that has been majority of my background. And I still do both currently, mainly mental health, but there's still like some substance use in there too.
And then obviously you went to school for social work.
Yep. Yep.
So is that a separate, shouldn't say a separate program, but also like a separate, I can't think of the word that I want to use. Like for substance abuse, like is there different kind of avenues that you're like, if I want to go more into substance abuse, I'm going to go more this route? Or do you have to get not a degree in substance abuse, but like almost like a major or minor, like that kind of thing? Or is it just whatever you're interested in or pursuing that way? You can just focus on that and kind of further your education after getting your master's in that. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. And too familiar if I'm not too familiar with specific programs for school for substance use, but I do know that you can get education specifically in counseling or social work. And social work is more of a broad spectrum.
Okay.
And then with counseling, it's specifically like counseling. I'm sure there is a word for it, like for a program. Maybe that is the word for it. I don't really know. But I went to school for social work for my master's, but my undergrad, I got my bachelor's in psychology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I know. And I work with social workers every day.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, like, because I know there's different, like, there's a difference between being like a licensed clinical social worker and then just having like your LSW. And
Yes.
what's the difference? Just more school or the type of degree?
So the licensed clinical is just a higher licensure. It
Okay.
allows you to do more. And I'm currently a licensed social worker and I'm working towards getting my licensed clinical.
Okay. Can you do more with the clinical side of it, or are there more kind of employment options with that?
Yes.
She's like, yes. So, okay, so that makes sense. So then the clinical is just a little more of a higher degree or a higher, like
Higher
furthering your education.
higher credential.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a better word for it because I can't
Yeah.
talk today.
That's okay.
Um, what got you into social work? Because obviously, like you said, your undergrad was for psychology, but
Mhm.
what made you want to go study that?
So just because it is more broad in social work, you can do a lot of things with that degree, right? It doesn't just specifically have to be counseling. You can work with DCFS, you can work with the elder population, you can work in hospitals or like a doctor's office. I mainly got into the field that I'm in because it's technically all the same, but just different titles, different credentials, different licensures. Um, I got into this. I was interested in this very, very early on. I was in high school and I took my first psychology class. I think I was a junior in high school and I'm just like learning all about the brain. And I just sat there and I'm like, yep, this is what I want to do. It was very quick. It was very quick. And it's so funny. And I reflect on that a lot because I was always the person like, I don't want to go to college. I don't want to go to school because I hated school. I did because and I pinpointed it. I hated school because I was like learning about shit that I didn't want to learn about.
Right. You're like,
you
I don't
know,
care about math. I don't care about this. Why
all
do I have to
important
square
things,
dance?
right? All important things, but I found something that I was super interested in and I'm like I want to learn more about this. So then I went for it. I went to college and that was that.
The rest is history.
The rest is history. And, just my own personal experiences with mental health, obviously got me into it too. Like I had and have continued, I don't even know how to say this. In the past, I had help with my own stuff. I continue to have help with my own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I want to do the same for others.
Yeah.
So
And
it goes, it's such it's so easy to say, like, people get in this field, like, well, I just want to help people. Okay, why? There's layers to this shit. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah. Hell yeah. And and that's interesting you say that because even, like, with being the police, they'll ask, "Why did you join?" And they're like, "I wanna help people and I wanna protect people." It's like, yeah, but there's also another layer to it.
Hmm.
Well, multiple layers to it, actually. But no, I agree, or asking yourself, "Why am I doing this?" Or, "Why is this something that I'm interested in?" Or not saying everyone's got their traumas and things that they go through in life experience, but what made me want to do this? Because I had my minor was in psych. My major was in criminal justice and minored in psych.
Hmm.
But I was like you. I want to know, why does my brain, like, or anyone's brain, like, why do we do the things we do? Why do I think the way that I think? Why do these things happen? Like, explain to me
Hmm.
why. And why was a big thing for me. I feel like a little kid, like, you tell you something, why this? Well, because of this. Well, why that? I'm like, "Ugh." But
Yep.
no, I think
The
that's
deep
great
thinking.
because we need more people. We need more social workers. We need more therapists. We need more people to be there for others because this is just my personal opinion, but I feel like since COVID, more people have been um, more open about mental health or therapy and services like that.
Yes, I really feel like mental health has really become a huge thing now. There's a lot more like awareness, and I appreciate that. These
Mhm.
things need to be talked about, they need to be addressed. So, yeah, I'm a huge fan.
I'm a huge fan. It's my career. I'm a huge fan.
I'm a huge fan. The awareness part, not that, that I'm not a huge fan that people are struggling. I hate that shit.
No, I
It's
know.
just the fact that it's becoming more prominent and people are talking about it.
And then it also makes me wonder too, like, were people struggling this much already? COVID put a wrench in everybody's lives and fucked things up. But, how were things before that? And if they still felt the need that they would have needed, therapy services or reaching out for different support groups, for different things. Like, again, just different things that I wonder about. But
I think it was always there.
it's either
I do.
there and then
That's
just
just
kind
my
of
opinion.
exacerbated it.
I think these things have always been there for years. Anxiety, depression, ADHD, all these things, and more things,
Mhm.
like the bigger ones, like schizophrenia and all that stuff. They were there, but I think people just didn't know what it was. There may have been lack of information. Um, I would hate to say that these things were ignored. It kind of they might have been. I don't know because I wasn't in that time, right?
Right.
But yeah, and um,
I
that's
know.
a good topic.
It is. And even thinking, like, you think back, like, on your childhood or, like, when you were younger and, if you saw another family member and, like, their behavior, and then I'm sure learning things that I know now, and especially now, being in that space, you're like, "Oh, like, Uncle Uncle Jim may have, maybe been bipolar." Not that we're, self-diagnosing people, but there's things that you see. And then I also see too, through my work in the mental health space, like, just different observations, and you're like, there might be a little more there.
Yep.
Or, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about that. Or just reflecting on your life as an adult and getting into that kind of space, especially you, because I'm in no way a mental health professional. I work within a mental health unit, but
Hmm.
I don't have any degree. It's I'm still the police, but still trying to learn also from our social workers, the different resources that we have and give to people and what they do, and just all the connections that are out there is actually pretty crazy because before I went into the unit, had no idea there were so many resources.
Yep. Yeah, I've experienced the same thing just with the resources part. And social media has become so freaking huge,
Mhm.
right? Like a quick Google search and hopefully there would be something, but yeah, I think social media has really helped a lot regarding the resources stuff, or just word of mouth too. You just got to listen.
Yeah. I mean, I'm open about it. I go to therapy. I joke with my therapist that I need a referral card, like a punch card, because I referred people to her. So she gave me like a little punch card. So I'm like, when I get, I don't know, 10 punches, I don't know, I'll make her give me ice cream or something. I don't know. But but it's crazy just being open and talking about like, I used to think going to therapy was like, not taboo, but I'm like, this isn't something I'd openly talk about. Where now I'm like, you don't go to therapy? I think everyone would benefit from therapy, honestly. Whether it doesn't mean that you have to have suffer with anxiety or depression or, bipolar schizophrenia. Like, you could just be going through it right now
Yeah.
and need a third party person to talk to. And then
Yep.
you could work through that and be like, you know what? I don't think I need this right now. And then maybe something else happens down the line. And you're like, you know what? I probably need to pop in and see them again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah,
Someone going to therapy, that doesn't necessarily mean that something is innately wrong with them. And I think, and I've thought about this before, right? I'm like playing out all this shit in my head and like, okay, this is what it is. I think there's just such a negative connotation around therapy. Like, oh, if it's almost like used as an insult,
yeah,
like, oh shit, like something's wrong with me. I have to go see a therapist. That's actually kind of cool that you have the privilege and the opportunity to, go and see a therapist or any type of professional for a struggle that you're having. And, and therapists aren't just there. And I'm speaking on myself with this, and I'm sure all the other therapists can relate. We're not just there for the bad stuff. We're there for the wins too. You can go into therapy and talk about the greatest day that you've ever had. We're there for that too. How can you have more of these good days, right? So,
right.
yeah.
No, for sure. Or just even having the self-awareness to realize that, hey, maybe I do need to go to therapy.
Mm-hmm. But it's
And
scary.
it is scary. Oh, 100%.
Scary.
I hate the feeling of going in there and knowing that I have to talk about something that's hard or something that makes me uncomfortable, or I have to actually talk about my feelings. Like,
Being vulnerable.
Yep, it's hard. It's so hard. And even though, like, I've gone consistently for the past 3 years,
Okay.
and and again, like you said, like, each session, I'm maybe like, I don't really have anything to talk about. And then it's the next one where I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, let me tell you. Because it'll be
Yes.
like a month or 3 weeks before I see her again. And I'm like, I have a note in my phone. I'm like, these are all the things that have happened. And this is what I've gotten over and we don't have to talk about, but this is still something that's sticking with me and we gotta talk about.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. A little self-disclosure on my end. The best thing that my mother ever did for me was send my happy ass to therapy whenever I was a teenager.
see, I didn't know that.
That's the best. That was literally one of the best things that she could have possibly done for me. And of course, I'm in my teenage years. I'm just like, fuck this shit. I don't want to go see a therapist, like some
Right.
strange person. And then I went, and it was very beneficial. It still is beneficial.
Do you think part of that too kind of played into wanting to get into social work and counseling?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing, like, you pulled, and I'm not saying, people are gonna have their different experiences, whether they're positive or negative, trying to find a
Mhm.
therapist, that trial and error, but that therapist clearly did something, positive for you. One, leading you on your career path, and second of all, like you said, like, just actually even helping you with whatever you were going on in your teenage years,
Mhm.
which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, and thinking back on it, there were some sessions that I would attend, obviously, and I don't remember specifically what I was going through, but I can just I can picture myself, and knowing myself, I was just very overwhelmed and probably anxiety ridden. And I remember we sat in silence for like the whole session because I just didn't want to talk. I couldn't form thoughts, I couldn't form words. I just needed to like sit. And that's sitting in silence with any type of mental health professional, therapist, what have you. Sitting in silence is just as therapeutic. And people hear that and automatically they think, well, that's awkward. And my response to that is, it's only awkward if you make it awkward.
100%. I love
Like,
silence.
a silence is a beautiful fucking privilege. And just having someone be there with you in your presence, very, very helpful. And not them trying to, spit things at you or force you to engage in a conversation that you don't want to be engaged in.
Yeah.
You
Because,
know, yeah.
go ahead.
It's really important, and excuse me, it's very important and helpful to just have someone be there with you, whether you're talking or not.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm like, and I think they could also recognize that as this person does just need to sit for a few minutes because they probably haven't been able to. Or like you said, you're like, I can't remember exactly what was going on, but I needed to, like, you're still sitting with it. Whether you're talking about it or not, you yourself are also trying to process whatever that was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's even kind of the harder thing to do too for
Mm-hmm.
anybody is because we try, oh, it's a hard thing or the vulnerable thing or the uncomfortable thing. I don't want to sit with this. Let me put something else to it so that I don't feel this way, or that we just
Yep.
shove it deep down.
Yep.
And then that never helps.
It's
I've
easier
come to learn.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's easier to avoid.
Yeah. But then it gets to a head and you're like, okay, now this is, 10 times worse. And now you're really like, I don't know how to handle this or I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we need people like you, Jay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I'm so serious because even like the social workers that that I work with every day, they have so much knowledge. And like even back to the resource thing, they have so much knowledge about certain stuff. And like, I'm like, I think I know a thing or two. And then they start talking about things. I'm like, I don't know anything. I don't know
Yeah.
anything. Or, because it is. I feel like, because that's 6 years, well, total, including your undergrad and then getting your
Mhm.
master's. That's about 6 years of school, right?
Yep.
So going through that 6 years and then coming out and being able to provide something for other humans in whatever space you choose to go, like you said, hospital setting, substance abuse, talk therapy, like it also takes certain people to understand that and to be that person for somebody. Cause like I said, I'm like, you can trial and error with different therapists and go and be like, you know what, I don't really jive with this one. I just flat out didn't like this one, but I respect that a lot, just that profession in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I just couldn't do that in much school. I wanted to do physical therapy in school because I played sports and I'm like, this is 8 years of school. I'm not going to start my career until I'm like 28. No,
Nope.
no,
Yeah, my schooling actually went by pretty fast. So 6 years, yeah, that sounds like a really long time, but it flew. It flew by. And just, obviously you learn things in the program that you're in, but it doesn't stop there.
right.
It doesn't stop there. It's on like a continuum. You're constantly learning. There's researching things, and I have a is the word subscription. I have a subscription to Psychology Today magazines. I read those all the time. I actually
I
just
read those
got one in the
articles.
mail.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's
Educating
so
yourself.
right. And I think in any career, whether social worker, police, architect, like there's going to be different things that pop up and that especially with times changing, like you're going to have to update yourself and keep up to date and
Yeah.
do all that. Because yeah, I think if you get stuck in that, not stuck, but if you're not willing to continue to learn, then you're not benefiting anyone, including yourself.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so yeah. But no, I know. Look at us all grown up. It's crazy.
It's fun to think about, though.
It is. It is. Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. Like reflecting on 30, like how much I've done in 30 years. like you said, like growing up playing sports, going to school, going to college, getting in an accident, starting a career. Like I don't know. It's been like a heavy week and a half reflecting on that. It doesn't sound like it should be heavy, but it has been. I don't know
Seems to
why.
be a common theme going on right now. I've been seeing it all over social media. Like, I can't believe I'm this age, and I mean, it is. It's fun, nostalgic, sad, all the things.
Yeah,
You know, thinking about stuff like that.
I know. Because then there's days where I'm like, I just wish I could go back to summer playing travel ball, even though you were constantly busy, but you didn't have to worry about anything else besides playing softball.
I miss that so much, playing
I do
softball.
too.
I don't think I appreciated it in the moment because I was so damn tired. Like, I
Well,
was
it
so
was. That's all we
damn
did.
tired.
That's all we did. That's all we did all summer. Whether you weren't practicing, you were at a tournament. When you weren't at a tournament, had double headers. Like it
Yep.
was. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've played on a couple like slow pitch leagues throughout the years, but it's nice, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
It's different.
It is.
Still fun, but it's very different. And I remember I don't want to say that my whole identity was wrapped up in being an athlete, but that's kind of who we were. At
Yeah.
least in my experience, I didn't get to hang out with friends all the time. I didn't get to go and do fun things with people all the time because I had a tournament or I had a game on Tuesday nights, double headers. And it was a freaking miracle that I got to go to the damn public pool and swim for a couple hours, but never on practice days because then you'll be tired. And
Yep. Exactly. That's
yeah,
exactly what I was thinking. I was like, you'd maybe go sometime like late morning, early afternoon, but then you'd have practice at 4:30, and you're like, oh, I'm dragging ass because I went swimming today, and oh yeah, what the glory days. But I agree, like being tied up into an athlete, because like you said, it was like you couldn't go, not that you couldn't, but like you didn't have the opportunity to go out and hang out with not softball people, because we all hung out together for
right.
months because
Months.
we were just always together.
Yep. And then we'd get irritated with each other and shit because we'd spend so much time together. It's like a whole ass group of siblings.
Middle school bullshit. That's the thing too. Then you're mostly in middle school and then dealing with growing up and puberty and all this other shit.
Right.
And throwing 12 girls on a team into the mix.
Yep.
But I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade that.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Those were some of the greatest years of my life.
They were. I'd do it all over again. Same thing.
Too. Same thing. We should have like a reunion or something.
A Raiders reunion. Can
A
you imagine?
Raiders a Raiders reunion.
All right, now we may actually have to do it.
Girl, let me get my phone. I'm about to create a whole group chat. I don't give a shit. Hey.
This is great. Oh my god. Wait, this makes me so happy. Oh man.
I'm not even going to do it right now. We'll wait.
We'll wait, but still.
Maybe I should do it over Facebook because I don't think everybody has the same numbers.
Probably not. Yeah. I was like, I probably maybe still have like 5 people's numbers, but that's who I would still actually like you, Danny, Taylor, who I would actually probably still talk to.
Yep. Yeah, we'll probably have to do it over Facebook.
Oh, I'm so excited. But then if someone's out of state, we got to go visit them if it's somewhere nice.
You're so right. We'll make it work.
We will. We'll make it work.
There's options.
There are options. We got options.
Yes.
But I do have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
So the first one is, if you had to pick one song, what's the one song that gets you out of a negative headspace?
Just one?
Mm-hmm. Just one. I mean, I'll be nice. You can pick 2, but if you had to pick one.
I'm a big Shania Twain fan. Any Shania Twain song.
Okay. Or even if you pick a current one, like right now, maybe that you've got on repeat, that makes you happy.
It's kind of like a lovey song. That's okay. I really like the beat of it. It's called Higher by Clean Bandit.
by Clean Bandit.
Yep. And it kind of has like a techno sounding things in there too. It's a good
Okay.
mix. So that's a good song.
Okay. Yeah, because I put a Spotify playlist together.
Oh
So
yeah.
all the songs for the different people that come on. So I've just made it compiled into one playlist on Spotify.
Ooh.
So then I'm like you said, I'm like, there's different genres of things. Like we go from Shania Twain to Clean Bandit, and then we've got like some like folky stuff on there and hard rock. So kind of goes all around. But then it allows people too to just have a different taste to music.
Yes. I'm gonna make sure that artist is correct because it's gonna make my brain itch.
Clean Bandit. The only person I can or the
Yep.
song I can think of from them is didn't they do a song with like Demi Lovato like years ago?
Clean Bandit. I'm not seeing it. But yeah, and I just thought of
It's on
another one.
somebody.
I thought of another one. Uh Without Me by Eminem.
Hell yeah.
Straight up, I'll be in the gym going hard as fuck to that song. Like it really just gives me a thrill.
Hell yeah. I was listening actually when I was getting ready. It was off what album was it? Kamikaze. It's called The Ringer. And like it's a
Ooh.
long song, but towards the end, he's just talking about like this is who I am. Like fuck all y'all. Like in typical Eminem fashion. But it was
Yeah,
like a little hype me up. Um
absolutely.
all right, sweet. So we'll put Without Me, Clean Bandit, and then I'll pick a Shania Twain song.
Cool.
Unless you have one in particular.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. And then my next one for you is what is your purpose? What do you think your purpose is?
What I'm doing now, what I've been doing for the past 6 or so years. It's definitely my purpose. I feel like each person has more than one purpose, but for right now, this is mine.
So doing what you're doing,
Yep.
counseling, social work,
Mhm.
awesome. I love that.
Be
And
obviously,
we need to.
being the best that I can be. Being my best self, trying to be my best self every day, learning.
Absolutely. And like I said earlier, we need more therapists, we need more social workers, we need
Mhm.
people out there that are, willing to help everybody out. So I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And then my last one is one piece of advice, whether mental health or, just kind of overall wellness advice that you would give to somebody. One piece of advice.
I'll share an affirmation because I actually have it on a post-it note.
Okay.
And it says, do not let the narrative you're telling yourself distort your reality because they're different.
Like that. I like
Mm-hmm.
that a lot.
Thank you.
And apparently so does StreamYard with the thumbs up. And I didn't even give a thumbs up.
Maybe because you said it verbally,
I guess. Oh, whatever. But oh my god, and I'm falling apart. But I like that. Say it again.
Do not let the narrative you are telling yourself distort your reality because they are different.
I like that a lot.
Yes.
Because yeah, what we tell ourselves can be true, but most of the time because we're looking at it at a different lens. And
Mm-hmm.
then, how I see something and how you see something, if I'm being harder on myself and how you view it, it's
Mm-hmm.
completely different.
Yep. Anxious thoughts too. And someone recently told me or encouraged me to do, they said, pay attention to the story that you're telling yourself. Like, be mindful of it.
Yeah.
And I shit myself when they told me that, I'm like, God damn, like, okay.
Like my mind is just blown. No,
Yep.
like even with the affirmation you just said, like that's why I had you say it again. Like it sat with me the first time, but I was like, I have to hear this again.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, so good. And like you said, even with I shit myself. I love you. Oh man, you crack me up. Um, with I definitely thought you were gonna say the dirt thing that we were talking about earlier. So now you gotta tell everybody about this because we were talking about before the podcast started recording. We were talking about how I'm big into journaling and I like to like do grounding. So like I will go in the backyard barefoot, walk in the grass and feel connected to the earth. And I said as much as that sounds hippy dippy, it's nice and it helps me. So, but Jay informed me that dirt could can somewhat act as an antidepressant. So, please share your fun facts
Again,
with
I heard that information several years ago. I don't know if it still holds the accuracy. But naturally, after I heard it, I Googled it. Otherwise, it like makes my brain itch and like I need to know.
Yep.
And I don't remember the name of the thing, but it said that there is a non-harmful bacteria in dirt. So if you smell dirt, you know, like that unharmful bacteria, it acts the same to your brain as an antidepressant would.
Is it supposed to be like an instantaneous feeling? Or if you even remember from reading it? Or if
I
it's
don't
like
remember. I don't remember, but I mean, it's yeah. I don't now. I want to Google it, and
I was
I'm
like I was like, you know damn well as soon as we're done with this, I'm gonna Google it and then we're gonna have a follow-up to this.
yes. I'm gonna like call you like. So this is what it is. Shit, I can't Google it right now because this conversation's important. But yes,
No,
that's
you're
what I
fine.
learned, and
That's
it was
so
very
funny.
interesting. Very, very interesting. Nature serves a purpose. You know,
It
it's not
does.
there to just look pretty.
Nope.
There's a
Nature,
lot
I've
of benefits.
big believer in nature heals. I'm a
Yes.
very big believer in that.
Yep. You're into the more like holistic stuff.
I try to be like, I think some people, I shouldn't say would argue, but I mean, there's certain people that I think do need medication depending on what they have going on. But for certain things, or to at least try to maintain, for me, it's anxiety. So for me to try to level out my anxiety, that's something that I do. Or with the journaling,
Mm-hmm.
affirmations, or one of my goals for this year that I've been better on track about now, but I have to write down every day what good things happened to me that day. Even
Ooh.
if it was a completely shit day, I have to pick one thing. So if it was like I had a piece of candy, I, you know, read 10 pages of a book, something. But and then obviously like the other day I had like 5 because it was a really good day and I marked down all these things. And then some days
Mhm.
that have sucked, I'm like, okay, here's I ate a piece of candy or whatever it was. But
Yeah.
I've been trying to hold myself accountable doing that. And I've noticed a difference because it's shifted me into thinking that not everything has to be negative
Yep.
or, you know, positivity can can heal. So that's been a big thing for me, especially with anxiety. But
Yeah. That
yeah.
sounds similar to doing like a gratitude list.
Hmm.
And doing gratitude lists, you know, has been proven to improve mood and decrease like depressive symptoms.
Yeah. Yeah. And it also causes me to reflect every day because I don't journal every day,
Hmm.
but at least this gives me a daily reflection and I'll do it before I go to bed. So that I'm also ending it on a happier note.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
yeah, it's been good. It's been good because there'll even be things that I forgot about that happened. Like if something happened in the morning, and then I'm finally laying down to go to bed, and I'm like, oh yeah, like this happened this morning too. Because it does. It causes me to reflect on what actually happened throughout my day.
Yep. Yep. Maybe you're overlooking some stuff and you forget, right?
Yeah.
And the important thing about all this stuff is to be consistent. You have to be consistent with it. You know, you
Yes.
can't just do it 1 or 2 times like, ugh, it's not working.
Exactly. Because I
Right?
would do it. I'd be good for like a week, and then I would actually forget for like a week and a half. Not that I just didn't want to do it. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, well, I don't remember what happened on the 25th, or whatever. So I'm like, all right, I have to start back. So since sometime in March, I've been consistent with doing daily. And I still like to handwrite things. So like even my notes, I like to handwrite them because I feel like I retain it.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just putting it as a note in my phone, because that's what I started to do. And I'm like, no. So now I found a random notebook that wasn't filled. And so every day I'll, put the date and then underneath I'll put it. So
Yeah.
that feels more connected to that too, handwriting it.
It's a big difference putting pen to paper or pencil to paper.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. All right, cool. Well, thanks for coming by, Jay. I appreciate you. It was
Thank
good to see you.
you. Yeah,
I'll
you
see ya.
too.
Bye.
Bye.